in my files with this command. I hope you can see this on the bottom. It just uses wc-l, word count, and lines pretty much. So here you see, yeah, there's 9,953 lines in my files, and there's lots of other types of files. Yeah, so that's going okay. Anyway, what were we doing? We're looking for a slider. Yeah, I think I might be already using a slider. Let me go down here and see. Yeah, there's effect param slider, see? And it just derives from UI slider. One thing that always, yeah, it's not really doing much, but it has a label, okay? It has a label and doesn't seem to do anything with it. Okay, it uses that label. Yeah, it does use the label. I'm not sure how it draws it. This adding to the subview business automatically would draw it. We don't have any say about where it gets drawn, unfortunately, if we do it like this. But we'll see how that changes. Changing the UI slider. Let's look if there are any gotchas, because that's always there are many things like, I don't know, the dictionary. You don't want to subclassing. That's a nightmare. The NS dictionary, a bunch of classes. If you debug the NS dictionary, you'll see that's actually like NSCF dictionary or something. It gives you back a bunch of different stuff. Okay. I'm getting sidetracked. Obviously, I haven't casted for a while. Maybe it was always this ditzy, but hey, what are you gonna do? UI slider subclass. Yeah. And another reason I'm doing this is, yeah, I've been applying for, well, a couple things, and it comes with a bunch of brain pressure and stress, so it's been hard for me to code regularly. And these YouTube sessions seem to get you pretty focused. At least that's what I've been using them for, so I figure I should come back to it. Just a way of getting yourself talking again to yourself. So, subclass, how about subclassing? Yeah. Yeah, there's not too much on it. UI slider subclassing. Okay. Not too much info. So probably looks like people do this quite regularly though. Yeah. So the subclass UI slider. We probably just need to override a few methods like draw rect, or is it just draw? It's probably draw rect. So here's an example of a subclass. See, this is pretty slick what they do. It'd be nice if we had access to the function that drew those circles and such, but I doubt they would expose that. Yeah, so draw rect is obviously what we need to draw. Oh, actually this is a pretty, looks like there's a gradient on that circle. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Looks like there's even a thing surrounding it. Let's look at the code. So they add a bunch of arcs. Are they using a gradient? They're not using a gradient. Very interesting. It just looks nice, doesn't it? Or maybe the slider's automatic. I bet. Okay, is there a value being taken? There's no value. Ah, here's value. Alright, so No, this is the point up to the value. So there might not be value, which is interesting. That means that ball thing is drawn independently. Possibly. Okay, well, that's probably enough looking at that. Let's look at the UI slider docs from Apple. I haven't, except for, yeah, I haven't really done subclassing for drawing for GUI objects from the UI kit. So this will be a little bit of adventure. Customizing the slider's appearance. Provide minimum and maximum value images. What does that mean? These images, okay, so they're talking about something very simple. Yeah, but we don't want to do that. Yeah. Okay, the track, that's what they're calling the bar. So, the region between the thumb and the end of the track, maximum track image. If it's too complicated to be able to draw, if you look at our picture, our slider area is only here. That's where I would like to keep it. The reason I don't want to put it up here is because then there's interference with this sliding object. And we want to draw past the bounds, and hopefully you can do that even though the slider is actually here. We can definitely do that if we write our own custom object, and we might have to. Like, for example, a belt is pretty much a slider. I mean, it's a sliding object. You interact by sliding with your thumb, but it's not UI kit at all. So we could easily do that too. Well, easily, you know, we could do that. Okay, so that's not what we want. We want, so the thumb's actually an image. Interesting. We can probably reuse their thumb. Yeah. Track image typically contains blue highlight. Maximum track image contains white highlight. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. The blue is kind of, yeah, it makes, we want this to look like a part of the effect, well, not a part of one of the GUI buttons, pretty much. I'm trying to keep the Apple looking stuff at the top, like for the system functions like load, open, save, record, the commands, I guess. And then the stuff in the middle is like the fun stuff, like effects, sliders, to control effects. Okay, well, let's look at this. There's a bunch of properties, but there's no draw, interestingly enough. Yeah. Alright, so just to get started, here's what we'll do. Since we're not using stuff like custom min-max, I don't think there's a reason to. No, this is kind of sucky. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. here's what I'm going to do. Alright, check this out. So, back in Emacs, and I'm going to open, what is that called again? Effect param slider. Yeah. This is a very, very simple class right now. And we're going to continue to keep it simple. And we're just going to add onto it. So one of my favorite things to do in the world is just to write this kind of function. Okay. So we want to draw the slider the way it would be. And then we want to draw the background frame that shows the values and connects to the effect entity. So right now this is not going to change anything, of course. We're just passing it on to our super. Yeah. But the next thing I'm going to do is, yes, it's been a little while, but let me search for slider, and I bet we'll find something. Yeah, so here's slider. And we actually add the size in which it should go right now. So right now we're saying go to it looks like this is in pixels. So go to the menu, go past the menu, and then draw the thing after some margin. Okay, so what we want to do instead of this is, yeah, let's go back to our picture. We need a before and after. So this is the after we want. And we're not drawing everything here. Also these buttons up top for rec and save, for example. I'm not going to draw them. This is what we want. Right now this is what we have. Something like, yeah, this needs to be so nice, but let's do a little bit better than that. We have rec, our menu bar pretty much. Then we have our sliders. Actually it's two, so something like that. And then we have our purple thing, our belt, effect belt. Yeah. So we just want to swap these two around pretty much, right? That's the first thing we want to do. So how do we do that? Well, first let's move this belt up. That's actually the easy part, but let's do that. So we'll go to game state. I believe it's there. So where is belt? Search for belt, you'll get it. This first belt is the bottom one that contains the mic entity. We don't need to worry about that. This belt is the effect belt. Alright, so unfortunately there's no real good way to, I'm not sure if there's, yeah, there is a way to translate between pixels and game coordinates, but right now it's a little bit contrived. But we definitely do it, for example, when we receive a hit, a tap. You know what? I think we can access from this. We can get the filter controller, which has the menu, and we can get the height. We could just hard code something in, but